My name is Greg Tankersley with LaSalle High School. To my left is Dr. Jim Rigg from the Archdiocese of Cincinnati, the Superintendent of Schools. We have Sheriff Neal and Green Township Police Chief West. I'm going to make a brief opening statement, give you a little bit more information than earlier today. Chief West will talk a little bit about the incident and the investigation, and Dr. Rigg will have a couple closing comments. We may or may not take a couple questions at this time. We'll see. At approximately 9:07 this morning, in an isolated incident within the building, and we're not releasing the name of the individual, his parents have requested that. His parents have requested that. He is fighting for his life. And I'm pausing because I hope that everyone respects that. We are not going to release his name. What we will tell you, he was an honors level student, had over 80 hours of community service, highly involved in the school. Not something we would have anticipated. Immediately today, the school went on lockdown when that occurred. Our first priority was the students in the building to make sure of their security. That was established very promptly. We couldn't be more grateful for Green Township, Hamilton County, and all those that responded this morning. Through the course of the day, we've had a number of communications with our parents. As you're probably well aware, all students have been dismissed for the day. We release no students without them being accompanied by their parent or guardian. We have grief counselors inside the building that are talking to any students who remain or wanted to come back. We will hold school tomorrow. We will begin in the morning with an all-school prayer service to talk about the incident. We think it's important to have our young men back in the building so we can talk with them and help them deal with this situation. What I'd just like to say to anyone out there, this is not something we expected this morning at LaSalle High School. And our message is to parents out there, take the time, tell your kids that you love them. I mean, it's a tragedy. We're very proud of our LaSallian community, and our student body couldn't be stronger today. They're going to deal with this. We'll get through it. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Chief West, who will give a couple comments about the investigation.
The main thing I want to stress is that at no time were any of the other students in the school endangered. Police officers responded as soon as the calls started coming in, got here very quickly, and quickly ascertained that it was a single individual who had attempted suicide. And so the school went into lockdown mode right away, and all the students were safe. And since that time, we've been working on reuniting the parents with the students, and basically talking to those that need help from what they witnessed or heard happened in the school today. So I don't really have too much any more information to share than we've already released earlier, but we will answer some questions here in a few minutes.
Chief, how did he bring the gun in?
Please? We do not know how he brought the gun in at this point in time. We do not know that yet.
What kind of talking was it?
It was a semi-automatic handgun.
You guys figure out who was registered for?
We are working on that at this time.
Talk about the circumstances in that room when this happened. Other students there. Talk about the surroundings.
There were other students in the classroom at the time, approximately 22 other students.
And you said no one else was in danger, but the fact is a gun was shot in that classroom. So when other students were in danger?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think with all due respect to the individuals that were in that room, they're meeting with counselors, they're dealing with it, so I think we owe those young men in that room the privacy. Let them work through the next 24 hours of what happened in that room. There was no one in threat or no one in danger at any given time.
Chief, can you talk a little bit about how the actual shooting incident took place, in that we were told earlier that it was towards the end of the first bell class. To your knowledge, did the student simply stand up and put a gun to some body part and pull the trigger, or did he actually say anything? Was there any forewarning whatsoever that he was about to do something peculiar?
Right. My understanding is it was just a matter of seconds, and the students realized that he was put a gun to himself, and then the incident was over in a couple of seconds, and then immediately people started calling the police, and the school went down.
He didn't say anything at all?
Not that I'm aware of.
Based on the 911 call, is there anyone else in either of them that you tussled or trying to subdue the student?
I'm sorry.
We've heard the reports that during the 911 call that was made that the teacher may have been involved in trying to subdue the student. Are you guys aware of that at any point or at any point?
No, I'm not.
The question would be why? Has anybody come up with any reason whatsoever why this would have occurred?
The investigators are looking at that right now. We have detectives from the Green Township Police Department and the Hamilton County Sheriff's Office, and they interviewed all the students in the classroom and are talking to other students that may have some knowledge about that. But we're not prepared at this point to put out a statement as to why that might have happened.
Was there talk about the idea of the debate to release the name? How strong was the debate to release it, not release it, that sort of thing? Greg?
There really is no debate. When the parents say they don't want it, that we're going to honor that. And so we did share the name with the parents in the building that were there earlier, so they knew. I mean, we wanted to make sure that the kids in the building are safe, one, and their parents know that they're good. But we did share there, but publicly we're not going to do that. We're going to respect the family's privacy at this time.
When you had they said go ahead and do that release of the name, would you have gone ahead and done it? How big a debate would there have been to release it?
That's not a question I'm going to answer at this time.
When you say no students were in danger, are you saying that there's no evidence there was an indication?
We cannot begin. We cannot begin to speculate. We will not take any questions on what happened in that classroom. It's an ongoing, I will say, investigation. But the students that were in there have all been interviewed.
Well, I'm sure parents are very concerned, right?
They absolutely are, and every one of the parents of the students that were in that room have been contacted. They've all been talked to. We're continuing in dialogue, and all I can tell you is, again, we need to keep this young man and his family in our thoughts and prayers. So I will not talk. We will not talk anymore about the incident in the classroom and try to speculate.
Question: the notification of the parents. There was some concerns that 35 minutes is, I think, the figure you mentioned was when the first email went out. Was that too late? Should it have been sooner? Was that the norm?
Our number one priority was the safety of the students in the building. And until that had occurred, we are not going to move to communication. We made sure every student in every classroom, and the chief can talk to you on our security measures, every classroom was on lockdown. I mean, our number one priority was the students in the building.
If I can comment on that. You guys will look at LaSalle High School currently has on file a safety plan with the Attorney General's Office of the State of Ohio, as all 114 Catholic schools do in the Archdiocese of Cincinnati. And that safety plan stipulates a sequence in which these types of issues must be handled. The top priority in that sequence is the safety of the students in the building. We have to make sure that all of the students are accounted for, that they're all safe and secure, and then move forward with external communications. We have verified that a safety plan is in place. The Green Township Police worked very closely in reviewing the safety plan in December of 2012. My office, the Catholic Schools Office of the Archdiocese, verified the safety plan in March of 2013. The safety plan was followed today. When the shooting took place, students were immediately locked down and 911 was immediately called. So we are very highly complimentary of the responsiveness of the LaSalle community, the responsiveness of the Green Township Police and the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department in this manner.
What steps are going to be taken to make sure LaSalle comes back strong? You mentioned earlier some things about the strength of the faith of this community here. Both you and Greg did.
Yeah, I have been tremendously touched by the outpouring of support within the LaSalle community, within the greater Catholic school community. There are a lot of people out there praying for the young man right now, and we add our prayers to theirs. And so tomorrow, as Greg mentioned, school will be back in session. School will start off with a prayer service in which special prayers will be said for the health and welfare of this young man. We will have counselors and clergy on site to help students with them, and we'll continue to work with them. We'll also have police, law enforcement within the building, present in the building, working with faculty and staff.
Can you tell us something about
did the changes you make to the safety plan, did that impact your actions today at all, the ones that just were implemented?
I'm sorry, we didn't mention any changes in the safety plan. The safety plan was reviewed.
Reviewed and updated from the attorney.
Correct. It has to be.
They're telling me February, but you said March. But sometime in there.
Yeah, it was in February, March. Yep.
Any of the weapons found?
No.
Did you guys search book bags and lockers after the incident? Did you go through the school to see if there were anything else?
We are still in the process of searching the entire school, but we did search the classroom.
Can you tell us, was this gun fully loaded? Was it, were there more bullets in this weapon?
Finished to answer your question. I went ahead and had the explosive canine team is going to respond after hours and conduct a search for any other weapons, because those canines can pick up the scent of nitrates.
Is that keeping you from searching? Are you waiting for those dogs to sniff the property before you guys can search?
It'll be a search in concert. Right now we have custody of the building right now, and we will conduct a search.
The Sheriff's Office, the county?
Our explosive detection canine team, yes sir.
Greg, if you can go back.
Let me, if I could, let me add one thing. We have no reason to believe there are any other weapons on the school grounds. We believe that this was an isolated incident with one student, and but we are, just to be on the safe side, we're going to search the school thoroughly tonight, and we'll have extra personnel on the property tomorrow.
And you said this gun, it just had the one bullet, or there were more bullets, or is that part of what you guys are still looking at?
They're still investigating that. I'm not aware of this time how many rounds were in the gun.
Sir, your backpack
Greg,
policy,
if I can.
Well,
students put the backpacks in the locker, and they're not allowed to take them out until after school's over, right? They go.
that is correct. Now, I think it's safe to say every day in the private and public sector of the world that you're always evaluating what you do. We're going to work together with the Archdiocese, with law enforcement, and we'll review. And we take this very seriously. And tonight we've canceled all activities on campus. Again, this is an isolated incident. We're going to search. The message in the story is, why would a young man who you would look at from a resume, why are we here? And that's really the story. And we're going to allow his family to go through what they're going through today as he's fighting for his life. We're going to work with the students who are in that classroom to make sure they have all the resources they need. We will communicate with our parents. We take this very seriously. To get into any speculation beyond that at this point in time, we're not going to do that. So at this point, we are going to end the press conference because we don't really have any other answers for anything that we can give you at this point.
Greg,
We
can you
will
talk
be
about the grief
issuing a press release shortly.
Can you clarify a little bit?
We understand you had counselors from Macaulay High School. Can you just talk about the logistics of bringing the community together from the Archdiocese?
I will on that. Today, Macaulay High School sent guidance counselors down. We have a couple organizations that help in grief counseling that came in from the Archdiocese. Tomorrow morning, we're going to make those resources available along with our normal guidance counselors. We've met one-on-one with our teachers individually and as a group. We actually met in the chapel at around 1:30 and discussed the incident. We will continue to do that and prepare our teachers for tomorrow. Again, we're holding class tomorrow because we feel like these young men need to be in the building and have someone to talk to and talk about this. There will be no resource that we will not pull out to answer a question and make sure that the young men in this building are taken care of and their families. So we thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Are you not identifying him just as a courtesy to the family?